Now, my second piece that I wanted to speak about was another John Oliver video, and it was the prison population. And I guess as me as a cop, I guess it's going to be kind of weird because, right, I put silver bracelets on people for a living. I take them to jail. So maybe it's a little weird for me to say that I think that we do have a prison issue. But the problem with our prison issue, I think, and that we don't look into is it's not the jailing people for low-level offenses, right? Like, we jail people for low-level offenses, and then they get out, and then they recommit, and then it's a vicious circle, right? Like, it never ends, it seems like. It never ends. And we say that our whole thing is rehabilitation, but it's not, right? Like, it looks good on paper. We're here to rehabilitate people, right? Some people can't be rehabilitated, plain and simple, and those people don't deserve to be out on their own. They don't deserve to be free. There's a lot of people who can't be rehabilitated. No matter how much you try, they're never going to be rehabilitated. They're going to get out, they're going to reoffend, and they're going to go. And it's just a cycle, and it's going to cost taxpayers money on the front end and the back end. It's either going to cost them on the front end when they're offending, or while they're in jail, or when they get back out and they reoffend, and it's just going to keep going, right? Some people can be rehabilitated, and there are some things that we've seen, right? Like the video that I watched for the video I watched on HBO Max, Isolation, the one where they're in solitary confinement, isolation, solitary, whatever it's called, I can't remember right now. Right, those guys, some of those guys have been dealt a raw deal. Like, there's a guy inside of that video who was in jail or in prison for a robbery, and then Virginia changed its law, and when he was gonna originally he was gonna be able to come up for parole. Now he can't, and he committed another crime in prison that's got him in isolation by attacking a warden, right? Like, we don't never know if that guy could have been rehabilitated because they took his opportunity away from him when he had a chance to come back out. Some of those other people, the people that have like 1,100 years in prison, right? Like, those people can't be rehabilitated. We leave them there, lock the key, or lock the door, throw away the key. I don't care. I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for some people. I've seen some really messed up stuff in my career. And so for a lot of people, I don't have sympathy. But for that guy, I feel really bad. And if we're going to sit here and we're going to say that rehabilitation is the goal, then why aren't we actually putting forth that effort to rehabilitate people? Right? We don't have things inside of the community to truly help people inside of the county I work in. We don't. We give them a bus pass and tell them to go, right? We don't have programs. We make it really hard for felons to get housing and jobs. And some of the felony crimes, I think, whatever, I don't care. Like, if you attack a child and you're a sexually violent predator, I don't care if you can find a place to live. Truly, I don't care. I couldn't care less if you get out of prison again. I couldn't care less if somebody turns you into Jeffrey Dahmer inside of prison, right? When it comes to kids, I don't care. But if you're a felon for some low-level dope crime, why are we making it so hard on them, right? Why are we making it so hard on them to find a place to live? Because they had 0.3 grams of meth? Who gives a shit? Sorry, I'm not trying to cuss, but really, like, who cares? And when I became a cop in Colorado, 0.03 grams of meth was a felony. Right? Like, in now today, if you have 0.03 grams of meth, it's a misdemeanor. But if you get convicted of that 3 separate times, then you get hit at 4th charge. That's a felony. It's like our DV charges in Colorado. We don't truly do anything to help these people, and we lie to ourselves and tell each other that we do, right? It's all good on TV, and it looks good, and it looks good on paper, and it looks good when our politicians are trying to do something, but we don't put the money back into the crappy communities, right? We hire cops, and we tell the cops to go push that area and get the people off the street and arrest them and make sure that area is clean, because the people who do go to work every day, they get tired of looking at it, right? So then we get in the neighborhoods and we start arresting people, and they're like, oh, the cops are here too much. Now everybody's going to jail. Even my cousin Timmy's going to jail. So then they want the cops to stay out of that neighborhood. And then the cops stay out of that neighborhood, and then they call back in and they say, why is nobody in my neighborhood? Now my car's been broken into 3 times and stolen twice, right? So we don't help these people when we could. We just throw them into prison or into jail, and we just start the cycle. They FTA on their warrants. They go back to jail. They come back out, they FTA on their new charges, and they just keep going. And then eventually they stay in for 6 months, and then they have probation. They don't comply with their probation, and then they go to jail for not complying with probation, right? We don't put back into the community. And if we did put back into the community, then Denver wouldn't look the way that it does. And Denver can sit and say, well, we do all this stuff, we do all this stuff. Denver's disgusting. I don't go to Denver because Denver doesn't put back into their community. Matter of fact, 2 years ago when the All-Star game was here, rather than actually trying to help our homeless population, we moved them. We threw all their stuff away, moved them 3 blocks to the west to try to get rid of them. You know, and as a nationally, we don't do anything for it either. Most people that we're dealing with that are committing these stupid crimes, yeah, there's some good crimes here and there. Not, I don't mean good crimes, but I mean like there's actual crimes that are police worthy, where police go out and do stuff and try to make a difference. Most of the crimes that I deal with on a daily basis, 95% of the crimes I deal with are homeless people stealing stuff from gas stations, jaywalking, panhandling, all that crap. Rather than fixing that, we send billions and billions of dollars to other countries, and we don't try to put back and help these guys to help them get off of the streets, right? To help them stop committing crimes. If we just taken a fraction of the money we gave Ukraine and brought it over here and tried to help our homeless populations in the metro area, I'm sure crime would clean up at least a little bit. And we're never going to know if crime would clean up at least a little bit because we don't try. We don't even experiment with it, right? We build these shelters and we build these housing projects and we're like, here we go, there it's up, that's gonna fix it. But it's not. Like, we didn't give them anything. We gave them a place to live until we say you can't live there anymore. And so I think for me, my 2 biggest things that I've got from this class so far is that the war on drugs is pointless for the most part right now until we really lock down trying to educate and trying to help people. And our prison system is worthless too because we don't give these people anything to succeed. And I'm about to go over my time, so I'll stop it, but I would love to make more of a video if I can and turn it into you.